There was a time when I thought nothing could break us. We were inseparable, two halves of the same laughter, the same silence, the same unspoken understanding that friendship could outlast everything, even love. We grew together like vines around the same tree, reaching for the same sun, never imagining we might one day choke each other's roots. Her name still feels like a song I can't unhear. We met when life was still simple, when love was a story other people lived. We built our world from secrets, late-night talks, promises that nothing would ever come between us. And for years, nothing did, until he arrived. He wasn't extraordinary, not at first, just another kind smile, another stranger with gentle eyes. She introduced us, laughing, unaware of the spark that would quietly set everything ablaze. I didn't fall for him immediately. It happened slowly, a glance too long, a conversation that lingered after midnight, a warmth that started to feel dangerous. I told her about it, of course. She was my best friend, the keeper of my confessions. I still remember the way she smiled, teasing, her hand brushing mine as she said, "You deserve something beautiful." I believed her. I didn't notice how her voice tightened on the word beautiful. Love makes you blind, but friendship makes you trust the wrong things. I thought she was happy for me. I thought she wanted to see me loved, and for a while, she did. She helped me pick dresses, read his letters, reminded me to be patient when he grew distant. She was there through everything until she wasn't. It started with absence, missed calls, canceled walks, excuses wrapped in soft smiles. Then the rumors began, harmless at first, like whispers caught in wind. I dismissed them. I defended her. I defended both of them. Until the night I saw them together. It wasn't what people imagine betrayal looks like. There was no passion, no obvious guilt. Just two people standing too close beneath a flickering streetlight, their shadows overlapping until I couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. She was laughing softly, and he was looking at her the way he used to look at me. That image became a wound I couldn't close. I didn't confront them, not that night. I went home, sat on the edge of my bed, and listened to my heart breaking in quiet, rhythmic pulses. There are moments that change you, and they rarely shout. They whisper. This is who they really are. The days that followed were hollow. She still called, still pretended nothing had shifted. I answered with the same pretense, both of us performing the ghost of a friendship already dead. Sometimes I'd catch her watching me with something like guilt, but she never spoke it aloud. Maybe she thought silence could protect her from consequence. When the truth finally reached me, not from her, not from him, but from the space between them, I didn't cry. I simply stopped needing to ask why. Betrayal doesn't always require explanation. It explains itself. I ended things with him quietly. No shouting, no tears. I just let the words fall between us like leaves. He tried to reach for me, but I was already gone, carrying the last pieces of myself he hadn't touched. What surprised me was not losing him. It was losing her. The person who once held every version of me now existed only as absence. I thought anger would come. Instead, grief arrived, not for love lost, but for the death of something purer. Friendship, when it dies, leaves behind a loneliness different from heartbreak. Lovers can be replaced, friends carved deeper. I avoided her after that. Our town was small, but silence can build walls even in narrow streets. Sometimes I'd see her from a distance, the familiar tilt of her head, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, and feel both nostalgia and nausea. I wondered if she ever missed me, or if guilt had simply taken my place. Months passed, seasons changed. I thought I'd forgotten her until the day she appeared at my door. No warning, no letter. Just standing there with eyes that looked smaller, heavier, as if carrying something she could no longer hold. I didn't ask her in, but she stepped forward anyway. Her presence filled the room like a memory, uninvited but impossible to ignore. She started speaking, words tumbling, half confession, half plea. She said she hadn't meant to fall for him, that she thought she was protecting me from a man who would only hurt me. She said she loved me more than him, but not enough to stop. I listened, not because I cared to understand, but because I wanted to remember how betrayal sounds when it tries to justify itself. Every apology felt rehearsed. Every tear looked practiced. I realized then that I no longer needed her explanation. The story had already ended, and she was just rereading the last page out loud. When she finished, there was silence. I could have forgiven her. It would have been easy. 2 words and everything could have returned to the illusion of before. But forgiveness is not always noble. Sometimes it's just another form of weakness. I chose strength instead. I told her I hoped she'd found peace, not happiness, not love, peace. Then I walked her to the door. She hesitated, maybe waiting for me to stop her, to soften. I didn't. She stepped outside, and I closed the door gently. That sound, the latch clicking, became the moment I finally understood closure. It isn't a conversation. It's a boundary. After she left, I sat in the quiet she used to fill and realized how heavy loyalty can be when it's misplaced. I had given her everything, trust, laughter, the kind of love that doesn't ask for return, and she had turned it into currency. Friendship, I learned, can be as destructive as romance when it starts to demand ownership. Time moved forward, as it always does. I saw them once more, years later, at a wedding. They were together still, older, polished by guilt into something almost respectable. She avoided my eyes. He didn't. For a moment, I wondered if they were happy. Then I realized it didn't matter. Some wounds don't heal by comparison. They heal by acceptance. I left early that night. As I walked past the old church steps where we once sat sharing secrets, I felt something loosen in me. Not forgiveness, but freedom. The kind that comes when you finally stop expecting people to be what they once were. Even now, when I think of her, it isn't with anger. It's with a quiet sadness, the kind reserved for things that once mattered deeply. She was my mirror once, reflecting all my better parts. Now, she's just a shadow reminding me that love, in any form, is only sacred when it's honest. Betrayal taught me that not everyone who holds your hand wants to guide you forward. Some just don't want to walk alone. One wish I had known that sooner. Maybe then I wouldn't have built my trust on borrowed ground. But I also know this: I don't regret loving her. Even in betrayal, she taught me something pure, that my heart is capable of surviving what it feared most. That even when love turns against you, it still leaves behind proof that you were real, that you felt deeply, that you existed fully. And that, perhaps, is enough. Because the end of friendship doesn't erase its beauty. It simply reminds you that some stories are meant to break so you can finally see the strength in your own reflection. When I look back now, I don't see her hand in mine. I see my own hand letting go. Steady, deliberate, alive. That's how I know it's over.